It's good to be with you. We're here another week in living in exile, living well in exile. And this week the focus is on living with unrest in exile. And so I think we look at that individually in our spirituality, but also as a church and how we live out our discipleship. And so one of my favorite scriptures is Matthew chapter 11, 25 to 30, and right the last couple verses there. Come to me, all you who are labored and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. For my yoke is easy and my burden light. Sometimes we do experience unrest as we live our lives, and it could be personal struggles. And you think about the time we're living in, like right now with the coronavirus pandemic and everything coming about because of that, and all the question marks we still have, and some of the anxieties and the worries and the fears, and now with the George Floyd murder, killing, and all that is ensued because of that, the racial disharmony, the looting, the rioting. I think people in general just feeling this unrest as they see all these scenes of unrest as they watch the news and see what's going on. And so I think during times like this, because we can almost overdose on all that, and it just incredible weight and it burdens us. And so we need to ask the Lord to bring us His peace, deepen our union with Him. We just celebrated Pentecost, and Jesus said, "Peace be with you." He wants to bring that divine peace into our hearts, and then to strengthen us to live it out. Now, here's the challenging part as disciples, because we live in a world where there is racism, there's ethnic hatred, there's human trafficking. The lives of the unborn can be threatened. There's life can be very, very cheap in our world. And think about when you were a kid in school and someone maybe picked on you or said something insulting. We remember those things a lot of times, and we feel disrespected. There's hurt. So there's a lot of that in our world, and we can be instruments of hostility and hatred and division, or we can be instruments of God's peace. And hopefully as we grow in our discipleship and our faith, we realize our own human dignity and that self-respect of how God looks at us as a son or daughter. And I think to live out of that spirituality and to be an instrument of that in a world where there's a lot of discord and there's a lot of disunity and there's a lot of bad stuff. But one of the things we have to be careful about is that we don't become jaded and cynical, lose hope, pessimistic. I mean, how's that going to attract people to Christ? How is that living the gospel? It really isn't. So that's where our prayer is so important, the sacraments, and it's so great that we're now slowly getting back to coming together as a church to receive the sacraments, the Eucharist, reconciliation. We need that divine nourishment if we're going to be Christ's presence in this world. So we know there is a lot of unrest at this time, and maybe we're feeling that internally. And Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are burdened, and I will give you rest." We want to turn to the Lord, to center ourselves in Him through our prayer, so that when we go back out there, we live in our discipleship, we can be about Christ's work and be an instrument of His peace and justice. I remember something that St. John Paul II said. There's a lot. This is a number of years ago, where there was all this unrest in the Middle East, and he said there can be no peace without justice, and there can be no justice without forgiveness. A lot of times we leave that last piece out there, and I think some of these hatreds and this vengefulness and this retaliation stuff. It doesn't go with the message of Jesus. We always need to be about justice, but without forgiveness, without desiring to be that healing instrument of Christ, some of these ancient enmities they just kind of roll on, and so may we be strengthened to be about this dimension of the gospel message as well. We rest in God's heart and grow in that, what He brings to us. May we be strengthened to be that presence in this world. There's a lot of unrest, and to be that instrument of the Lord's gospel and of His peace. God bless you.